NBA schedule, guys, is going to be released through the All-Star break tomorrow, right here on this show, on The Jump. But we already have some key opening week games revealed, starting with opening night. Let's take a look. December 22nd on TNT. Kevin Durant finally making his official Nets debut, gets to face his former team, the Warriors, followed by ring night here in LA. Clippers facing the champion LA Lakers. Then on December 23rd, Giannis and the Bucks facing the Celtics on TNT. CP3 making his debut for the Suns against Luka and the Mavs on ESPN. That'll be a great game. We get to Christmas in a little bit, but Perk, the first game of the entire season, we get to see the Nets and the Warriors face off. Which team would you say has more pressure on opening night?
Oh, it's the Brooklyn Nets. Look, Rachel, the world is ready to see Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving play the game of basketball together. I want to see this team. I know you want to see this team. I know RJ want to see this team. The world is waiting to watch the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a number one. I think if Klay Thompson was healthy, I think that would put a different focus on the Golden State Warriors. And that's unfortunate. Get well soon, Klay, man. We miss you on the court. The game of basketball misses you. But, you know, we also get Kevin Durant back. And that's what everybody has been talking about for a year. Understand, this man was in the conversation as the best basketball player on the planet. And this wasn't the, great stretch by Kawhi. Is he the best player? No, this is Kevin Durant doing it for year after year after year and winning championships with the Golden State Warriors. So I really, truly believe that the Nets, they have to prove that all of that chemistry we saw with the Clippers. They were loaded. They had a bench. They had a marquee coaching staff. They had two superstars. They had the reigning Finals MVP. And they were up 3-1 and lost to a Denver Nuggets team. So it doesn't matter how loaded the Brooklyn Nets are, they have to put it all together. And that's going to fall on Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
Look, I feel like I've been seeing previews for this team. It's like with when the Marvel movies started coming out and they kept teasing, like, there's going to be an Avengers movie. They're all going to team up, we promise. And it was at the end of every movie, and you're like, get to it already. And yes, here we are. They are finally going to get to it. I am so excited to see what this Nets team is going to be. It would have had so much spice if it was Steph and Klay and Draymond and the group that's around them now being able to play their former teammate, the guy that they had to hear, right, for the better part of 4 years. You were, only Kevin is what's really pushing you over the edge. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit of the spice there, but I do think without Klay, it's a different game. I am very excited to see the Brooklyn Nets. All right, both teams are also going to be part of the 5-game slate on Christmas Day, so let's get to that. Noon, we've got Zion and the Pelicans facing the defending Eastern Conference champs in Miami. That'll be on ESPN. And then over on ABC, Warriors-Bucks at 2:30, followed by Nets-Celtics. That is going to be Kyrie's return to Boston. And then at 8, Luka versus LeBron and Anthony Davis on both ABC and ESPN simulcast. Finally then at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, but just dinner time out here on the West Coast, Clippers taking on the Nuggets in a Western Conference semifinals rematch. So Richard, if you had to pick which Christmas Day game is most intriguing for you?
Oh, honestly, it's tough because the NBA does a great job of pairing these up.
Oh, just pick one.
Shut up. I'm gonna say the Clippers one. I'm gonna say the Clippers one. You got a new coach. Paul George is talking about the amount of pick and rolls he needs. So you got a new coach. Your team is going to be adjusted. And the first team that you get is the team that just won 3 straight against you to put you out of the postseason. And you guys were heavily favored to win the championship. So that's the game that I'm going to be looking forward to.
Me too, Richard. I'm going with the Clippers versus the Nuggets. And here's why. Because I want to see the Clippers get a heartbeat check. I want to know if they could bounce back to a team that knocked them out, like you said, that they had down 3-1. Paul George, all the complaining about this, that, and the other. Now you have a young stud in Ty Lue. Now you have no excuses. I want to see where your heart is, where the Clippers' heart is y'all go come in and handle y'all business against the Denver Nuggets. Now on the flip side, I want to see if the Denver Nuggets going to show the Clippers that this wasn't a fluke, that we own y'all. We're not scared of y'all. We could beat y'all any given time, any given day, on any given court. So I'm excited to see that game.
Well, that 10:30 game is usually like the hoop heads game, right? It's not as much for the casuals. It's more of the people who really love basketball. So that's the one you guys gravitated to. I love that they put all four of those conference finalists on Christmas Day. I think if you make it to the Western or Eastern Conference Finals, you deserve to play on Christmas Day. Matchup-wise, I wouldn't have minded seeing the Clippers play the Blazers just for all the this, but I'm going to have to live without that. And maybe that's one of the games we will highlight on our schedule release show, because they will certainly be playing each other, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. We are going to talk more about the Clippers on this show, though, guys. Coming up, Paul George had some concerns about how he was
this pickup for the Washington Wizards. Now, the Houston Rockets, that's a completely different story. And with all due respect to John Wall, he is very similar to Westbrook, but not quite as good as Westbrook. Plus, he's coming off two major injuries, including an Achilles. So explain to me how this could be even remotely close to a good deal for Houston. I just don't see it. I think that this is just another step of them trying to change the entire organization, and I believe that James Harden is next.
Well, RJ, you speaking the gospel, and I was going to get on you about your plain white wall with no Christmas decorations on
very
it.
sad.
But I'm going to let you make it because you speak. Yeah, I'm going to let him make it, Rachel, because he's speaking the gospel. But Washington, in my opinion, won big in this deal. When you talk about Russell Westbrook, a guy that already knows Scotty Brooks, has a great relationship with him, respects Scotty Brooks along with Robert Pack, those two guys could hold Russ accountable. And like Richard said, Bradley Beal is going to benefit tremendously playing alongside Russell Westbrook, like Paul George did a few years ago when he was in MVP conversation. And now you have spacing over there with David Bertans, who's one of the most deadliest three-point shooters in the game today, a young stud in Rui Hachimura, and all these young pieces. You have a spark plug off the bench in Ish Smith, a dog who they call on the defensive end, and Troy Brown. So I like the makeup of the Washington Wizards team. You add a Russell Westbrook, a Ferrari engine to this ball club, and guess what, Rachel? It brought chocolate back to Chocolate City.
Well, look,
okay. I don't know what that means.
I do. I'm from D.C. Perk, I got you. Look,
no, I know.
You make a good point, Perk, about Russell Westbrook being a known quantity, right? Like, we know what his faults are. We know what his strengths are. We know what his injury issues are. John Wall is such an unknown quality. So for the Wizards, having that known quality in Russell Westbrook, that partnership with Scotty Brooks, I think really is going to be a strength for them. And for whatever reason, the John Wall-Bradley Beal partnership, which has never worked great, isn't apparently something they want to continue with all the reporting about Wall asking for a trade. So even if you just got rid of a possibly contentious situation, that is a good thing. For Houston, this is a huge gamble because we have no idea what John Wall is going to be. John Wall, frankly, doesn't know what John Wall is going to be. The injury history of guards in particular, coming back from Achilles injuries, is not good. So he will have to buck that. I do think for John Wall, it is a good change of scenery, the weight of everything that happened with him in D.C. If he came out this season and, let's say, really played healthy and like his own self, he would be having to battle the expectations of not just this season, but the weight of his entire history with the team. And this way, he has a fresh start as well. So good for John Wall, good for the Wizards. I don't know yet if it's going to be good for the Houston Rockets. I will say, and we're watching this right now, this Dear D.C. letter from Wall. He was such a force in the Washington community, and I'm from that area. You guys know this. I do want to take just a second and commend the fact that he put himself out there over and over and over again over the last decade, whether it was recently for voting rights and civil rights issues, childhood hunger, low-income housing. He has done so much for the city of D.C. that I know there are a lot of people there who are giving him a salute on the way out, and they'll see what happens with Russ now. All right, guys, I want to switch over to our coast, the West Coast here. Yesterday, the Lakers and LeBron James agreeing to a 2-year extension. You heard Woj mention it, $85 million. It will keep him in the purple and gold through 2023. And as I did discuss with Woj, AD and the Lakers, full 5-year max extension, keeping him with the franchise until 2025. So, Perk, how many more titles can the Lakers win with this duo? Because LeBron is on 4 now, and you know who's at 5 and 6, respectively. Just saying.
Right. And look, to be honest, I see the Lakers winning at least 2 titles, Rachel. And here's why. Yes, because of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but I want to mention Rob Pelinka. He has done a great job in this offseason. He went out in free agency and did his thing. I mean, he went out like the Lakers lost the championship. He went out like the Clippers should have did in the offseason. Acquiring Montrezl Harrell, signing him, getting Dennis Schroeder, getting Wesley Matthews at $3.6 million, getting rid of Danny Green contract at $15 million, re-signing Anthony Davis, right? A 27-year-old generational talent that's just hitting his prime. So he's locked in for 5 years, and the Lakers are probably going to get 3 to 4 years of AD in his prime.
Yeah, no, Rob Pelinka did a great job. Again, that was, maybe there was some Rich Paul, maybe there was some Bron, but yes, you definitely need to give some love to Rob Pelinka for some of the moves that were orchestrated here, because the Lakers were the biggest winner in free agency, and that's very random. That the team that wins the championship is also the winner in free agency, so that should be scary. Now, there's always going to be like, how do they mesh, chemistry, new roles? That part is yet to be seen, but I don't want to put championship numbers on it. If they don't win one more championship with this pairing and this group of players, it will be a disappointment. But Perk, you know how hard it is to win. Would I be surprised if they won 2 more? No. Am I going to, the 2, they could win 3. Shoot, they should be the favorites every year. They don't have a team quite yet that's like the Golden State Warriors when they had Kevin Durant. When they had Kevin Durant, as long as they stayed healthy, nothing was going to stop them. This is still going to be a team that has to work, that has to fight, that has to get better. So I think over the course of this Bron extension and AD's contract, I think the championship one, I think, is what they should focus on. And then after that, anything other than that is just gravy.
Well, they have so much going for them, right? They have obviously such a strength with LeBron and AD as the core of that team. It makes free agents want to come to you. It makes players want to come to you in a trade. It makes guys want to take less money to fit into the organization. But it's more than that. They have clarity, and that is what we have seen has been missing in so many locker rooms, right? Everybody knows what their job is on this Lakers team. And I think LeBron's first season in LA, there was obviously a lot of lack of clarity. And even the previous offseason, it's fantastic that it ended in a championship, but obviously there was some lack of clarity in that previous offseason. And now they've had great clarity in this offseason setting up the team. So I just think that that's a huge organizational advantage for them. And it's to their credit, to LeBron and AD's credit, and to Rob Pelinka's credit. And, of course, let's not forget Frank Vogel's credit to set everything up that way. They have such a strength going into this year.